Okay, great. Hey everyone. So we are back with another JamTube episode, and I'm so excited to have Terra here from Della Organics, who will be vending her amazing products at the festival this year. And she's joined us for now probably like 5 since 2019 or since 2018, I think.
At least, yeah. I think we've done all of them except the initial couple that were on your family property, but we started right after you moved to the second location, I think.
Nice. So you've seen it evolve.
Yes, very much so. It's definitely a great community, and we look forward to it every year.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. You guys are always gung-ho about it and like come and participate, not just come and vend.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really an opportunity to build community. I mean, even just as I was getting dressed this morning, I was reminded that almost everything I'm wearing, I got from a Flow Jam vendor.
Oh, really?
This wire wrapped flower crown was made at Flow Jam last year.
Wow.
You know, it's just
No, our internet. You're going in slow-mo right now.
Contributing to, but also getting everything you need from community. Festival spaces, we don't get as much of that communal living that we might like to have.
Hold on. I think you froze for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There we go. I think we're back.
Okay. Do you see yourself? I think you're frozen.
How's that?
I can hear you. You're just frozen in this like stance. Wow, we lost her for a second. Okay, now I have to riff live with you guys. So I'm going to use my improv skills and say yes to this opportunity to be here live with you. So Della does organic. Yay. Okay, great. I didn't have to riff for too long.
There we go. You kicked me out for a second.
Yeah. So wait, can you say that again? Because we missed that about like you.
Yeah, no problem. It feels like festivals are such a unique opportunity to live in community, even if it's temporary, because we don't all get that in our day-to-day lives.
Right.
And it's something that we all crave on some level or another. So being able to both contribute to community, but also get everything you need from community, even if it's just for a weekend here and there, it's a nice treat. It's nice to get to call that work.
Yes, exactly. I love that. So tell us more about what you'll be vending and how you started. I'm always interested. I think I know a little bit about your story, but I don't know if everyone does. But I know I love your products and I always come visit you at Flow Jam. I was actually trying to see if I could pull some out, but I need more. So I'm excited to stock up.
It's a good thing we've got like 3 weeks. We're good.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start with where this all came from and where we're at now. There are really 2 answers to how this started. In part, like 10 years ago, I'd stopped wearing sunscreen because it's really bad for you. So is a sunburn, so is hiding in your basement and getting no sun exposure. Like none of these are healthy choices. And I tried to buy sunscreen. Like I tried my hardest. I shopped farmers markets in San Diego, every page of Etsy, and I couldn't find it. So I gave up and started making my own. And I think that's where maybe the longer answer to that question comes in, is the very unique childhood that I was fortunate to have. I grew up in an off-grid, sustainable Lakota Sioux community in Northern California.
Wow.
And we grew and made everything we needed. So for me, when I couldn't buy sunscreen, it was very default to just figure out how to make it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that expanded again and again. Every time I needed something in my own care routine, wouldn't be able to find something that met my standards, and I'd make it instead. So now we're at over 70 SKUs of self-care and hygiene, full spectrum CBD and Delta 8, basically all the things that you use to take care of yourself on a daily basis. But every one of our ingredients is plants and minerals across the board. Even though our shampoo and body wash bubbles, our CBD and Delta 8 are so potent that most people drop their dose by half when they switch from other brands to us, but it's all plants at the end of the day. So now what we offer is primarily the education that people are looking for. Wellness education, self-care consultations. It often looks like a conversation of, give me a list of your priorities and let's build a routine that'll help you meet those needs. Yes, one leg of that routine is the products that we make that you can buy from us. That's how small businesses survive capitalism, community support. But the other legs are things like, are you drinking water? How's your sleep? What are you eating? Are you sweating on purpose daily? Like, it's all the things together. You can't just buy a product and expect it to fix everything. The product's part of it, but so is the rest of it. So it's really this educational part. And then people support us by shopping our product line. But one of the things that we'll be offering this year at Flow Jam is our CBD and Delta 8 Lounge, which is a space that provides not only the physical space, but also the time for people to get more education on CBD and Delta 8, because this is our oldest written record of humans using plants as medicine. But the last couple hundred years, really last few decades, we've totally lost that connection. And especially with something like Delta 8, where 90% of Delta 8 on the market is synthetic, poisonous, and highly dangerous, it's extremely important that people are getting that education and that they're getting plant sourced Delta 8, not synthetic lab Delta 8 that people are overdosing on. So we're going to be having this CBD and Delta 8 lounge space for people to sample and ask questions and get education. Also just spend time in community.
That sounds great.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that seems like a new thing that you're doing.
It'll be new to Flow Jam. We've done it at other events. It's a big production to bring it to a multi-day event. Mm-hmm. So we've done it more at one-day events in the past, but this will be the first time that we're going to pack everything extra, because it's basically an extra 10 by 10 vendor canopy. Right. We've got our normal space and then a whole extra space. It'll probably be like the back room. And that is a whole additional space set up like a lounge, with seating options and tapestries and cushions and things like that, so that people can spend an extended period of time experiencing the products, asking questions, and really absorbing the information, because we have this unique opportunity to test and modify on site. So let's say we're testing something for your anxiety and we try a dose, and then we can play with that dose live on site and see how much more or less is the right fit for you, because we each need a different dose for our own unique endocannabinoid systems. So rather than typically at a one-day event where I'll give you a starting suggestion, like, hey, let's try 15 milligrams based on what you've told me about your sensitivity to plant-based medicine. And then it takes 2 to 3 days of back and forth communication to find your perfect dose. At Flow Jam, we'd have the opportunity to do that live together.
That sounds beneficial for everyone that's going to be there. I love when there's
yes.
Spaces to lounge and get educated on plant-based products. Good for you. It's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
So during your process and evolution of creating this brand, what is like the most important lesson that you've learned, or like your top lessons?
A big one is finding balance. I think people often make the assumption that you have so much freedom when you work for yourself, which in a way is true, but many people who work for themselves end up being harder on themselves than a 9-to-5 boss might be. Mm-hmm. So really reminding yourself to find balance, taking structured time off and not pushing yourself so hard, especially for me being in a space where I'm educating and advocating for self-care. To push myself so much that I would neglect my own self-care is something that I really have to be mindful of not doing. So there are hours of the day that I will not engage with work. There are certain days out of the week that I do not engage with work, because I've found that in the past, when I was just always available, always working, I was getting to a place where I was at risk of not taking care of myself the way that I'm advocating other people take care of themselves.
Right. I can definitely attest to that, relate to that for sure. Doing this production is quite the feat. And there was, I think, a time, in 2017 after we wrapped up that I just like almost, I didn't really sleep for a month, but it felt like I just like shut down for a whole month. And then I was like, this isn't sustainable. I need to be able to balance and, take this self-care time, because dealing with a lot of entrepreneurial clients too, it's like, you can work as like, there's always going to be work. There's always going to be things to do as an entrepreneur, but that's like sustaining the long run, like, being in business for 10 years, that's like, why, because we've learned how to balance a little bit to be able to like, maximize our own self-care and then maximize our ability to like help others, which is such an important lesson that I think people run a lot of businesses that fail because it ends up that they are getting too stressed out. They don't know how to say no. They don't know how to, price things to make money or whatever it is. It's that constant like hustle mentality that I need to keep moving, keep doing to be able to actually receive, which is, not true, but it takes a lot of like deprogramming to get that out of you. So I'm really excited for you that you've like grown into the consulting space, to be like, active in someone's care routine so that you can actually like see how these products are doing with these people, have, just live experiences instead of, I guess like what most people do, just have products and, not have the extra care support, which I think is like how to actually get the results for people and to keep them coming back and seeing, what the effects are of these products that you've created.
Yeah, for us, I think the education is really the primary component. I mean, I'd rather someone only buy the right things for their needs, even if that means they're spending less in the moment. But those are going to be the right things that impact them positively. And then as a result, they are going to continue coming back to us. It builds this loyalty in this community, because we don't have customers, we have a community. And while we've priced everything to be accessible, because it's all ancient plant relationships, like it didn't feel right to do what a lot of people with organic in their labeling do, and they like triple the pricing just because. So for us, keeping pricing accessible and providing education has built a loyal community that we can count on. And I think that's really the most important part is focusing on the education.
Mm-hmm. With anything, people want to know what they're buying, how to use it, how it's going to affect their life, like why, there's so much on the market. There's so much, there's even, there's so many options. It's like the real change and the shifts happen when someone has the knowledge and then actually has the support and accountability and the accessibility to actually get those things in their hands. So that's really great. So what is, before we went live, you're talking about it's, now becoming your festival season. What is something that you really look forward to? Besides, I know that we've been talking about the community aspect, but what is like the shift that you're really looking forward to now that like the season is coming where you get to go out and be with people?
Yeah, so I think for any of our one-day events, because every week we have events all over DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So for our one-day events where we're staying a little more local, closer to like DC metro area, It's a nice routine to be in these community spaces on a regular basis, like every weekend. And then when we get into these festival activities, I think we have like 6-ish multi-day camping events lined up this year.
Mm.
When we get into those spaces, it's like a whole different world for a few days at a time, you know. Like, one of my favorite things, other than all the people that I get to meet and the conversations I get to have, one of my favorite things for myself is waking up at whatever time the sun wakes me up in the morning, because we're camping, that's the alarm clock. And it's often before everybody else at the festival has woken up. And I just find some spot, typically at Flow Jam, it's the field in Vendor Village outside of our booths. And I just spend some time in the sun in the morning, maybe with like a half of a watermelon and a spoon. And that like quiet morning time out in the woods is one of my favorite parts of the year. And at every festival, I have kind of a different spot. There's one festival where we vend really close to the stage, and the stage faces the sunrise. So I'll go sit in that spot. At Flow Jam, typically the sun rises over our booth. So I just go hang out in the grass in that field of Vendor Village and enjoy my watermelon and watch the first couple people wake up after me.
I think I've seen you actually at I think maybe it was Floyd Yoga Jam, but I saw you with a watermelon like after the event. Like,
yeah, we typically bring about 10 watermelons. Yeah, it's kind of a thing. We've got a farmer at one of our farmers markets who knows once summer starts, they've got to save watermelons for me because they have the best organic watermelons. And we bring probably about 10 watermelons to a festival for just myself and my partner, Miguel. And then we share them with everybody, of course. But typically we will chop a watermelon open and each of us gets a half, and that's breakfast.
Nice.
That sounds like so hydrating and fresh. And then we always have more than we needed and we share with everybody. I think actually that year at Floyd, we had a watermelon table because we had brought way too many watermelons. So we just had a table and a knife and people could come and cut watermelon as needed.
There's something so good about like that summertime watermelon. Like it's just a nice ritual to have.
It is. And especially when we're out in the elements for so many days on end, watermelon being more hydrating than water is actually really helpful. It's hard not to get dehydrated at these festivals, no matter how many water bottles I chug a day. It's between the talking and being in the sun all day long, it's tough. And that watermelon really comes a long way to kind of rehydrating.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I'm gonna like spot you. I'm gonna try to get up early and like see
I'll save you some watermelon.
Totally. Oh yeah, please. Anytime you see me, send food and drinks
my way. A piece of watermelon your way.
Yeah, exactly.
As you ride by on the golf cart.
Yeah, exactly. I missed the one that I had in 2019. We got that sponsored. It was like one of those real powerful, like I think it was, I don't know what brand it was, Kawasaki or something, but it went like 40 miles per hour and I was just like zooming around. It was awesome.
I think I remember that one. Was that the last one before we moved to Verdun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so what are your favorite, I know this is going to be difficult, but like what are your maybe top 3 favorite products that you have right now?
Okay, I get these questions a lot and it's tough. It's easier to maybe do categories of things.
Okay.
So, anything for pain and inflammation management is on a personal level very important for me because I get shoulder spasms. It's a genetic structural thing. And what works for me is keeping my muscles strong and taking my CBD daily. So anything in the inflammation and strength and pain space is huge for me. I'm very obsessed with our oil cleanser for the face. It's cleaning without soap, which is a lot better for you, but the smell of it. So I always pick my ingredients first based on like what plants will do this job. But equally important is to balance it out so that you enjoy the experience. And with the oil cleanser, Squeaky Clean, I didn't have to balance anything. It just it just came together, and the smell is so good. And it's just like this little spa moment. Put the cleanser on, wipe it off with a hot, wet washcloth. It's a really great way of incorporating a few minutes of something that feels like a half hour of self-care, but you can do it in just a couple minutes. So that's huge for me. And let me think, if I'm just going to pick one other, maybe dental care. Dental care. I think that was a new release last Flow Jam. We typically release something new every Flow Jam. This year, we might not have something because we just lost our aloe vera supplier, and it was supposed to be facial toner.
Oh.
And if I can't find a new supplier in the next week or so, PSA, if anybody knows where we can get a good aloe vera supplier, there's a $100 Della Terra Organics gift card up for grabs.
Oh.
We desperately need a new aloe vera supplier. DMs, please. So if we get the new aloe vera, it'll be toner at Flow Jam this year. We always release something new every Flow Jam. But if not, then that's all right. It'll be for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So what is the dental care? Would you have toothpaste?
Yeah, it's a tooth powder without like the petroleum of most toothpastes, and then a mouth rinse. And the two together, they remineralize, literally rebuild the protective enamel layer on the outside of the teeth, and they'll prevent and heal cavities. Because like, think about it, teeth are bones. If you break a wrist, you don't go to chop it off right away, you heal it. If we have damage in our teeth, why do we go straight to removal? Let's try healing them first. So the two together, the tooth powder and mouth rinse, have been phenomenal. It was like a 2-year research project before we finally released them last summer. So now it's out about a year, and we cannot keep enough in stock. Like, I actually tend to sell out at most events and have to restock almost immediately.
Wow. I'm excited. I have to try that.
They're good, and they're really yummy too.
They're what?
They're really yummy too. Like the balance of the ingredients, it's really fresh, lightly sweet, but we don't add sweetener or anything. That's just the natural sweetness of birch bark, which is really good for dental health.
Does it have clove in there? I know clove is good for dental health.
There is clove in both the tooth powder and the mouth rinse, among other things.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's exciting. I'll have to check that out because I've been better now that I have like my tent set up and all this stuff. But there was like some years that I just would wake up and like keep going and just forget to brush my teeth. Not forget, but just like not have time. But I learned that balance, and I now always brush my teeth.
Yeah. Even when we're in the middle of festival life, I've got my little self-care bag. People will see me, that the people who get up early will see me doing my whole self-care routine as if I had a proper bathroom available. Well, I guess at Verdun we do. But people will see me doing my whole self-care routine, face care, hair care, dental, all of it, before starting my day. Because for me to suggest that people stick to a self-care routine but not have one myself, not that I always, I also falter sometimes, but I do my best to give myself the thing I'm telling other people to practice.
Right. Well, that's a good thing. No, it doesn't always happen that way. Do what I say, don't do what I do.
I mean, sometimes you just have to find compassion for yourself and like, okay, so I fell off of this routine, or I didn't do my meditation this morning, or I didn't get my yoga or whatever my physical activity is. But you just keep going. You just do it the next day, even if you didn't maybe get it done that day.
It seems so simple, but like sometimes in people's minds, and especially like I went through this before I learned like a bunch of tools and techniques, but because if I would fall off, it's like your brain kind of is like, well, I'm already off, so like let's just take it a step further. And then all of a sudden it's been a week and you're like, what happened to my self-care routine? And you like forget.
You're like, oh my gosh, how long has it been since I've done any kind of meditation? Like, what is happening in my head?
Yeah, I've been pretty good at that. I meditated actually before we got on the call, and I was like, okay, let's sit in silence before we start talking to people. But yeah, okay. So that's exciting. You said the dental care, the what were the other, oh, the CBD, and for the pain inflammation. And what was the third one?
The face cleanser. It's just like such an impactful spa moment at home.
We always,
But out of 70 something SKUs, it's hard to pick. I have a love-hate relationship.
3 options. So, and like, of course they can change, right? Like, but this is what you're, like focused on right now. How many did you say? 70 something?
Yeah, we have a little over 70, 72 or 74 SKUs.
And SKUs
about
products? What is SKUs?
Like individual products. Yeah, individual items. So about 40-ish of that falls in the self-care and hygiene, maybe skin care, hair care, sun protection, insect repellent, deodorant, dental care. And then the other 20 plus, nearly 30, are on the full spectrum cannabinoids and Delta 8 side. Okay. Oh, and then pet care. Pet care makes up the difference.
I was going to say, yeah, you have pet care. Where is my pet? Yeah. Oliver.
Yeah, we do.
Cheers.
CBD and is he coming or no?
Oh, he's
coming this year? Okay, good.
Yeah. We actually just got in, I'm making bandanas this year for all the dogs.
So that's adorable.
All the dogs, because there's a dog ticket, right? Like we're pretty much the only festival around that allows dogs, but we have dog tickets, and now we have little bandanas for your dog when they come and check in. That's their like little ticket that we know that they're checked in. So I'm really excited. I just got those in the mail yesterday. Yeah, coming out with some new merch. So
that's so great.
One of the things
we bring my dog, but we'll have to get a bandana. I was thinking I won't be bringing my dog. He's too big for that kind of heat, but we'll have to get him a bandana.
For sure, please. They come in 2 colors, purple and blue.
Okay. All right. I'll see which one's going to be best for him.
Yeah. Okay. So before we run out of time, one of the things that I've been asking people is, and since you go to a lot of events, what is the craziest, weirdest thing that has happened to you either on your way to an event or at the event or like driving back from the event?
Okay. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the story of the Universe hummus. So that was Flow Jam 2019.
Nice.
And
I love how all these stories are like Flow Jam related. Yay.
I know, right? How fun. It helps. I mean, we've been coming to Flow Jam for so long. It's one of our oldest. Yeah. That was the first thing that popped into my head. So we had our booth and then a couple of neighbor vendors, I think Juice Box, who moved out of area, and
I miss her. Her juices.
I know. They were great. Druzy Days, who still does Flow Jam, has moved to Asheville, but comes to Flow Jam when she can. And a couple of we were making hummus just as a group of neighbor vendors. And we had like an okay amount of ingredients. It was late in the festival. I think it was maybe the last day of the festival, like the last full day. So we'd used up most of our ingredients already. A bit of olive oil, not enough, and like everything we need. But we had some of the ingredients. We started making it, and every time we would taste test, somebody would be like, "Oh, it needs some of this." And I kid you not, we tasted, we're like, "Oh, it needs something a little more acidic." And this guy comes walking down the hill, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" We're telling him about our like ragtag hummus recipe and how it needs something acidic. And he pulls, I kid you not, a hip flask of homemade apple cider vinegar out. We use the apple cider vinegar in the hummus. So we're still like making the hummus. I think we're mixing it with like a bottle in a bag. We're like smashing the chickpeas in a bag with a bottle. And then we're like, not really getting a good mix in this. We really need more olive oil. We ran out of olive oil. Daryl from Camp Contact walks by. "What are you guys doing?" We tell him what we're doing with the hummus, how it needs some olive oil. He's like, "Hold on," comes back with a gallon of olive oil from their camp. So we keep making it, and I can't remember. I wish I could remember, like 1 or 2 other things happened where we're like, oh, it just needs a little bit of this. And somebody just shows up literally minutes after we speak the words with the ingredient that we needed. And after who knows how long it took us to make this hummus, we've got this huge batch of hummus and probably a dozen people that have contributed to it. And we all went and sat on the fence railing outside of the barn at the old location and watched the sunset while we, as a group of somewhere between 10 and 20 people, shared this huge batch of hummus that was provided.
Wow. That's very synchronistic. I love that.
It was really cool. Literally everything we asked for just popped up. And that kind of stuff only happens when you're in these community spaces. You know, it's when we've all been there 3 or 4 days and we're all so connected to the space that we're in, to the intentions that we have, to the actual land itself. Things line up when you're in those kinds of spaces.
Yeah. What a great opportunity for like everything to come together. That's a cool story. I love that.
It was really cool. It's definitely one of my favorites.
And I think I have a picture of you guys on the fence, like
yes,
the sun goes down. So
that's the universe hummus.
Oh, okay.
I know the picture you're talking about. I think it was like a picture on the website last year, the year before, from 2019.
Yeah,
that's the hummus.
Nice to know the background of like, here are all these people sitting on this fence, and this is what happened right before that. We all
this is how we spent our afternoon leading up to that sunset.
That's a pretty good story. I've had some interesting stories, but that one's the most, I think, synchronistic and like community oriented and about Flip Jam. I love it.
Right?
So where can we find you and your products? Where can people buy from you if they're not local, and if they are local? We didn't really talk about where you were, but knowing that you're doing events in DC, Maryland, Virginia, I think you're in, what part of Virginia are you in?
We make everything near Dulles Airport, Ashburn, Virginia, and then we do events all over the DMV. Pretty much Baltimore to Richmond is our like regular range.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we have our event schedule on our website. It's DellaTerraOrganics.com. So you can check the event schedule there if you are local to the DC area, or if you're going to be visiting. We also have a co-op in DC. It's 80 woman and non-binary owned brands all in one store. That's called Femme Fatale. So you can find us on the shelves there. If you're not able to make it to an in-person event for the educational consultation part of the experience, you can book a consultation through our scheduler. So we can have a virtual consultation. So you still get the education you need, even if for whatever reason you're not able to come out to an event.
Cool. Okay. So DellaTerraOrganics.com. That's where we can find you. And on Instagram and Facebook, Della Terra Organics. I think we've tagged you here. Let's see, my phone may have cut off our Instagram, but we're still live on Facebook. I don't know if we're on Instagram anymore, but you can also find them on Instagram and Facebook at Della Terra Organics. And of course at Flow Jam come I was about to say June 17th. It's actually June 8th through the 11th.
Early this year.
Yeah, a little earlier. We are springing out so that you start your summer off with a bang, and tickets are on sale right now. Their tier 2 tickets are on, and we actually just added day passes, and also for the first time ever, evening only passes. So if you can if you can only make it one night and you want to see the music, you want to join us. And of course, all the vendors that are staying open later, you can also join us for a night, which we've never done before, solely because of the work behind it that involves with checking everyone in and doing all the things and parking and all that. But we really want to, we have like a stacked music lineup this year. So we want to just make sure we're covering our bases so that as many people can enjoy the space as possible. So flowjamfestival.com, if you guys are listening and haven't checked out our website or bought tickets yet, that's where you can come and see Della Terra as well and chill out in their space and get educated on all of the amazing products that are really good for you and good for the environment. I can attest all the ones that I've tried, really, really amazing and great. I have the deodorant and the moisturizer for the face, which I need to get more of. And also I will say that, so I'm in Asheville and there was somebody that came, I don't know, we didn't know that we knew each, like, she didn't know that I knew you or like knew of Della Terra. And she was like starting to talk about, I just got this amazing skin stuff and my face looks amazing. And then she said the name and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I know her. Yeah, great. So that was all the way down here in Asheville.
Who was it?
I think it was.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think it was Narda, but it could have been someone else.
I was guessing it would be Narda. I thought it would be Narda.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of supporters there for sure. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add or say or make sure that we knew before we ended this talk?
No, I think that's it really. Just, read your labels, expect an education, and come see us at Flow Jam.
Yay. Okay, great. And I am going to send you some stickers and some posters for you because I know that you're going all over the place. So I will, after this call, get actually, we probably still have your address from.
Yeah, you have. I think most years we do some like in-person promotion for Flow Jam because it's so local to the areas that we're always in anyways. I love the idea of that nighttime ticket because Flow Jam is so uniquely positioned being less than an hour from DC. But for people who can't get out of their other daytime commitments, but they can still come for the nighttime.
Yeah.
That's going to be really, really great. And we always stay open late anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe we should light up Vendor Village this year. Let's throw a string of lights around the whole space.
Yeah. Oh, we're doing it and we're gonna, connect with our vendor coordinator so you can talk to her as well.
Perfect.
But yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things happening. So follow Della Terra Organics and follow Flow Jam Festival if you're not already. Go check out our website, grab your tickets and come see us because it's going to be our biggest year yet, our 10th anniversary. Very exciting. Well, it was really awesome to chat with you. It's always super special to connect with you. And I'm excited for all of your growth in your business and you getting all those amazing products out to people. That's so important and the education behind it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you later.
See you in just a couple weeks.
Hey, bye guys. Let us know any questions. Write them in the comments.